Hi everybody, it's your old pal Brian Hunt. Welcome to episode 4 of 60 Seconds of Risk. Today we're going to talk about the concept of resiliency. In a nutshell, does your organization or you have the ability to take a punch and get back up? Now, being resilient is sort of an offshoot of having detailed and robust business continuity plans, or even think about it, personal continuity plans, which that unto itself comes under the umbrella of mitigation, which we talked about in the prior episode. When you have a risk and you're concerned about it, do you have plans to mitigate that risk during the course until you resume your operations, or say if services are restored? In this situation, I'm coming to you in Dallas, and we're expecting another ice storm tonight. Now, by all accounts, it should not be as severe as it was a year ago, when the entire state was plunged without power, and as a result had catastrophic damages of property throughout the entire state. In that situation, the energy industry knew they had an exposure, but refused to engage in resilience, in making themselves more resilient to withstand that exposure. And as a result, many households in many operations in the state last year suffered a lot of property damage and lost income as a result. But don't worry, your property insurance premiums will be going up as a result of that, so you can thank the energy industry here in Texas for that. But I digress. In any situation, you need to understand your exposure and think about how can you withstand that exposure until the peril goes away or services are restored. So in this situation, let's think about being in Texas or anywhere part of the country, the world, and your services are disrupted. Say your power, your water, your electricity, or your internet. How can you survive, say for 5 to 10 days until the services are restored? That's why you got to have a plan in place to make yourself more resilient, to provide for yourself, your family, or your organization. So from an individual level, let me show you what I think about as far as being resilient. Now, as you can see right behind me, I've got a fire going. It's always a nice place to have a fire to generate heat in your house if the power goes out. In this situation, I bought a lot of wood during the summertime, kind of like the old adage where you buy your summer dresses in the winter. I bought my firewood in the summertime where people really don't need as much. So now I've got a nice stack of firewood outside in the back patio in a cupboard on a firewood rack ready to go. But another option is, what are you going to do about loss of power? One thing I had done in the course of the past year is bought a portable generator. This one on itself is not diesel or fired by natural gas. This is a portable, think about a large battery which I can recharge when needed. This particular individual I can use to run my refrigerator, a room heater, lights in my house, TV for a little bit if I need to, the microwave, the tea kettle if I want to get some hot water. Basically, I can sort of keep things running at a minimal level for an extended period of time until power is restored. Another nice function about this one as well, I can take solar panels and attach it to this so that the power isn't gone for a long period of time. Provided I got sunlight, I can recharge during the day and use it during the night. So again, one way to mitigate the loss of power. Another thing you need to think about is water. Life cannot exist without water. And as we all found out last year, getting access to water can be difficult. Like myself, when I grew up in high school in Connecticut, the entire house was run on electricity. So when the power went out for an extended period of time, we couldn't get water because water came from a well, which had a pump, which is on my house, which again was not backed up by any other power source. Therefore, you need to have plans to have water on hand in case you can't get water from your main service. Another issue you gotta deal with is food. In this situation, I got emergency rations, which I bought from a great company known as Costco, and I have this available in the house. It's freeze-dried. It requires hot water, hence the battery power to use the water kettle to make hot water. But again, I have the ability to sustain myself for a couple of days until service are restored in my region or around the country. Another thing to think about as well is that actually having access to hard cash. And you go, why is that important? I'll give you an example. When Hurricane Harvey went to Houston, the waters receded, the gas stations were back up and running, but the payment systems were not. So the gas stations only took hard cash. So if you're in a situation when the power is out for an extended period of time and the internet is out for an extended period of time, and you need to provide food, gas, clothing for your family or yourselves or your operations, you might find you might not be able to do a transaction unless you have actual hard cash. So the concept here is plan for the worst and hope for the best. Hopefully you don't need this, but also I want you to remind you that for a long, long time, people were talking about a pandemic outbreak, that people didn't think any seriously about it. But I think we're all in that situation now. Now, with respects to not having power and water for an extended period of time or 5 to 10 days, think about cyber exposures. And currently in the situation as it is in Ukraine and the Russians invading, systematic war could easily go across borders. And we'll be talking about that in another episode. Again, this has been Brian Hunt with 60 Seconds of Risk. I hope you enjoyed this. You can find these videos obviously on LinkedIn, also on my channel on YouTube. Please post any comments, whether you like this or hopefully you subscribe to it, or if there's any certain topics or individuals you want to see on the next episode, please let me know. And you can find these episodes as well on Twitter. It's been good talking to you. See you next week.